Hey guys, I'm Ryan Flaherty, and this is episode 2 of How I Play Now, and today it is going to be all about Halo 4. Now, I'm going to admit right away, guys, that I'm a fanboy. I love the Halo franchise. I always have. It was actually, if anybody's ever heard me on Blank Your Games podcast, it is the game that actually brought me back to playing games after I took a small hiatus, so I am very near and dear and fond of this franchise. And I just want to say, again, you could take my stuff with a grain of salt, but Halo 4 does not at all disappoint. But let's get right into it. Halo 4 takes place 4 years after the events of Halo 3, where it has Cortana and Master Chief still on the last half of the Delarex ship of the Forward Unto Dawn, which does seem to get surrounded by the new Covenant regime, and seems to have floated pretty close to a Forerunner planet known as Requiem. Let me get into it right now. The CG effects, I think we've all seen CG effects from the original Halos, which were usually always in-game engine type of CG cutscenes or whatnot. But this new system that they're using, oh my god, it almost looks like real people. It's really shocking to look at. On top of that, the actual gameplay visuals and the graphics around you are more stunning than they ever have been in a Halo game. I mean, everything just pops. It feels more realistic than it ever has. But at the same time, I have to tell you, with the gameplay mix, it feels like this baby never left Bungie. The fighting with the Covenant AI is very, very tight, given some every now and then little kind of let's say glitches in the AI system. There's been a few little problems I've had, but nothing that's ever been completely 100% game breaking. This game, it just blows your mind. Covenant forces obviously feel the same, but then when you start coming up against the Prometheans, the Knights, the Watchers, I'm going to be really bad here because I can't remember the names of the little dog characters, but there are these little animal type characters that do shoot laser beams from their mouth and are pretty sick to fight against. Covenant AI support seems to support itself as it always have, been more very hive mind, whereas the Prometheans seem very well built at supporting one another. So I would say that fighting them can be a little bit of a more strategic cluster battle than it will with the Covenant. You're very used to, if you played the other games before, you'll be very used to fighting Covenant, but Promethean tech or Promethean AI is just way better at supporting one another, and they can take you out pretty quick if you're not careful. Now let me talk about multiplayer. Now guys, I'm going to admit, the first time around, I don't play multiplayer that much. I've never been a huge normal fan of playing multiplayer, but let me tell you guys, I've never been more addicted to this type of multiplayer. I've been playing a lot of Big Team Slayer, which obviously is chaotic within itself, but I think that this adding of specializations, where you can choose upgrades to be dropped on the point of the map after you've hit a certain amount of kill point, and those could be anywhere between like different weaponry, an overcharged shield, or perhaps even some kind of ammo drop. I love multiplayer, guys. I mean, it's crazy Halo stuff, and for you military shooters out there that love the military multiplayer games, this is not for you. The aim down sights are still exactly the same, only a few games actually have scopes that you can use. But I love it. I love the chaos. I love the fun of it. I love that it's, I guess, not taken so seriously. So I have to admit that this game, this type of multiplayer, I think I'll be playing for quite a while. And the last part of multiplayer that I want to talk about is Spartan Ops. Now this gives people who are probably not so fond of multiplayer another way to engage in a storyline while playing with other people. Spartan Ops are actually fully episodic CG content that actually follow or take place 6 months after Halo 4 ends. So you'll be following the UNSC Infinity and its group of Spartans on different missions onto Requiem. Each one has its own show or own episode to it, and each one has its own storyline. And you'll be fighting nothing but NPCs throughout the game. You can do this on single player, but as I have heard, I haven't tried it myself yet, but as I've heard, this game has been more designed around multiplayer, so you might get overrun pretty fast from the way they make it sound. But Spartan Ops is a heck of a lot of fun. It's another way to level up, and it's a way to kind of break that layer of multiplayer if you're just not a multiplayer person, strictly like campaign. It's also really good to follow that campaign on there too. So I would suggest guys looking at that, checking it out. I mean, if you guys haven't even picked up the game yet, and I mean, I'm going to say not for everybody. Going to say that right away. But if you are still one of those people who's still getting fond of the first-person shooter where you're fighting aliens and saving the world, basically, Halo 4 will not disappoint in that way. And if you're a big fan of the franchise, Halo 4 is not going to disappoint you at all, guys. I mean, I know a lot of people were really worried when 343 took it over. Let me tell you, they're taking care of this baby. So that would probably be the end here of this episode, and I'm glad you all tuned in, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Peace.